The sound of laughter drifts through the open window of my childhood home, a sound I wasn't meant to hear. I freeze on the front path, keys dangling uselessly in my hand. My family's voices float out into the warm evening air. Mother's tinkling laugh, Emily's excited chatter, even Father's deep chuckle. A full family gathering, one I clearly wasn't invited to. I'm Isabel, the forgotten daughter, the invisible sister, the perpetual afterthought. It's perfect timing, really, Emily's voice carries clearly. While Isabel's away at that conference thing, Peter and I could start moving our stuff in. The house is way too big for just her anyway. My house, the one I bought myself after 10 years of research and grant writing, the one they mocked me for purchasing in such an expensive neighborhood. "Darling, that's wonderful," Mother exclaims. "You two deserve a proper home to start your family in." I step closer to the window, my heart pounding against my ribs. The roses I planted last spring brush against my legs, their thorns catching on my pants. "Isabel won't mind," Peter's smooth voice adds. "She's always saying how lonely that big place gets." I've never said any such thing to him. In fact, I barely speak to my sister's husband at all. Something about his perfectly practiced charm sets my teeth on edge. "We should wait to tell her, though," Emily continues. "You know how she gets about her things. So particular." Father's voice rumbles in agreement. "Better to present it as a done deal. She'll come around. She always does." My fingers curl into fists, nails biting into my palms. They're right about one thing. I always have come around. Always swallowed my protests, smiled through gritted teeth, given in to keep the peace. 20 years of making myself smaller, quieter, less demanding. 20 years of watching Emily take and take while I fade into the background. "To the new homeowners," Mother declares, followed by the clink of glasses. I back away from the window, nearly stumbling over my own feet. My chest feels tight, like all the air has been squeezed out of my lungs. They're in there toasting to the theft of my home. The one thing I've achieved that they couldn't diminish or dismiss. My phone buzzes in my pocket. A text from Emily. "Hey sis, can you come over to Mum and Dad's? Family dinner tonight." The casual cruelty of it hits me like a physical blow. They're probably wondering why I'm late, playing at confusion while they plot behind my back. I stare at the message until the screen goes dark, then turn and walk back to my car. For the first time in my life, I don't respond to Emily's text. Don't make excuses. Don't smooth things over. Instead, I drive straight to Aunt Valerie's house on the other side of town. She's been estranged from the family for years. Another strong woman they couldn't control. My hands shake as I ring her doorbell. When she opens the door, her eyes widen at the sight of me. "Isabel? What's wrong?" "I need your help," I say, my voice steadier than I feel. I'm done being the good daughter. She studies my face for a long moment, then steps aside to let me in. "It's about time," she says softly. "Come in and tell me everything." As I cross her threshold, I feel something shift inside me, like a door closing, or maybe opening. Either way, there's no going back now. They want to take my house. Fine, let them try. But this time, they're going to learn what happens when they push too far. This time, I push back. 3 days after discovering their plan, I sit at my parents' dining table, watching Emily monopolize yet another family dinner. The crystal chandelier catches the evening light, casting fractured shadows across her perfect smile as she details her latest achievement, organizing a charity gala that raised $5,000. "The mayor himself called to thank me," she beams, cutting into her roast beef. "He says I have a natural talent for bringing people together." Mother practically glows. "You've always had such a gift for these things, darling." I take a slow sip of wine, letting the bitter taste linger. Yesterday, my research team secured a $1 million grant for cancer treatment studies. But I know better than to mention it now. "Actually," Emily continues, "that's partly why Peter and I have been thinking about the future." She shoots me a sideways glance that makes my stomach clench. "We need more space for networking, hosting events." Father sets down his fork. "Have you found somewhere?" Exploring options. Emily's voice drips with manufactured innocence. Actually, Isabel, your neighborhood would be perfect for us. I carefully place my wine glass on the table. Really, houses there are quite expensive. Oh, we have ways of making it work, Peter chimes in, his smile never reaching his eyes. The market's full of opportunities if you know where to look. Speaking of opportunities, I say, my voice steady despite my racing heart. Did you ever sort out that issue with your investment firm, Peter? The one that made the news last month? The silence that follows is delicious. Peter's smile falters for just a fraction of a second. What issue? Mother asks, looking between us. Just a minor regulatory misunderstanding, Peter recovers smoothly. All resolved now. Isabel must have seen some outdated article. Funny, I continue. Butter wouldn't melt in my mouth, because I could have sworn I saw something about it just yesterday. Isabel, Father cuts in sharply, let's not discuss business at dinner. Emily was telling us about her charity work. Of course she was. Emily was always telling us about something. I watch her shoot Peter a reassuring look, her hand finding his under the table. The diamond on her finger catches the light, probably worth 3 months of his salary, if he actually earned what he claimed. Well, Emily chirps, clearly eager to change the subject, we have more exciting news. We're thinking about starting a family soon. Mother gasps in delight. The crystal glasses practically vibrate with her joy. Oh, darling, that's wonderful. Isn't it? Emily's eyes find mine again, triumphant. We'll need plenty of space for a nursery, of course, and a yard for the children to play in. The implication hangs in the air like smoke. My house has 4 bedrooms, a sprawling backyard, everything a growing family could want. Your sister's house would be perfect, Mother says, as if reading from a script. Isabel, you barely use half those rooms anyway. My fingers tighten around my fork. I use every room in my house, Mother. The 2nd bedroom is my home office, the 3rd is my library, and the 4th. But you're hardly ever there, Emily interrupts, always at the lab, or at those boring conferences. Those boring conferences are where I present my research, I say, my voice taking on an edge. Research that could help save lives. Father waves his hand dismissively. Yes, we know all about your work. But family should come first, Isabel. Your sister needs... What about what I need? The words escape before I can stop them, sharp and clear in the suddenly silent room. 4 pairs of eyes stare at me in shock. I've broken the cardinal rule. I've disrupted the carefully maintained fiction of our perfect family dynamic. I think, I say, standing slowly, I should go. Don't be dramatic, Isabel, Mother starts, but I'm already moving toward the door. Thank you for dinner, I say, my voice perfectly controlled. I'll see myself out. As I walk to my car, I hear the front door open behind me. Izzy, wait, Emily calls out, using my childhood nickname like a weapon. You're being ridiculous. We're family. We're supposed to help each other. I turn to face her, illuminated in the porch light like an angel in a Renaissance painting. For the first time, I see her clearly. Not as my beloved little sister, but as the person she's become. Yes, I say softly, we are family. Remember that when everything falls apart. I leave her standing there, mouth open in surprise. In my rearview mirror, I watch her figure grow smaller, still framed in the doorway like a portrait of innocence about to be shattered. Aunt Valerie's living room feels like a confessional at midnight. Files spread across her coffee table, illuminated by a single lamp, casting long shadows on the walls. She hands me a thick manila envelope, her expression grim. You need to see this, Isabel. Her voice is steady, but her hands shake slightly. I've been tracking Peter's business dealings since he married Emily. What I found, it's worse than we thought. I pull out document after document, bank statements, property records, legal notices. Numbers blur before my eyes until one figure makes me stop breathing. This can't be right. Your parents remortgaged their house 6 months ago, Aunt Valerie confirms. They gave Peter the money for his investment scheme, nearly everything they had. The pieces click together with sickening clarity. That's why they want my house. They're not just helping Emily, they're desperate. Peter's firm is under federal investigation, she continues, sliding another document toward me. These complaints go back 3 years. Ponzi scheme, fraud, embezzlement. My phone buzzes. Another text from Emily. Can we talk? I hate how we left things. I ignore it, focusing on the papers in front of me. Does Emily know? About the investigation? No. About your parents' money? Maybe. But there's more. Aunt Valerie pulls out her laptop, turning it toward me. Look at these property records. My eyes scan the screen, catching on familiar addresses. These are all foreclosures. Houses in my neighborhood. Peter's been buying them through shell companies, flipping them for profit. But look at the sale prices versus the actual market value. The numbers don't add up. Can't add up. Unless a knock at the door makes us both jump. Through the window, I see Emily's car in the driveway. Isabel? Her voice carries through the door. I know you're in there. Your car's outside. Aunt Valerie helps me gather the documents, shoving them into a drawer. When I open the door, Emily bursts in like she owns the place. What are you doing here? She demands, looking between us. With her? Having tea with my aunt, I say smoothly. Is that a crime? Emily's perfect composure cracks slightly. You know Mother and Father don't approve of... Of what? Aunt Valerie cuts in. Of the only person who told them the truth about their precious son-in-law 3 years ago? Emily's face flushes. That was different. Peter explained everything. Did he explain why our parents had to refinance their house? The words escape before I can stop them. The color drains from Emily's face. How did you... No. I step closer. The same way I know about the federal investigation into Peter's firm. The same way I know about the foreclosure scheme he's running in my neighborhood. You don't understand, Emily whispers. He has a plan. He's going to fix everything. With my house? My laugh sounds hollow even to my own ears. Is that why you're really here? To make sure I don't ruin your husband's latest con? It's not like that. Emily's voice rises, hysteria creeping in. We just need time, a few months in your house while we sort things out. Peter says a lot of things, Aunt Valerie interjects. But the numbers don't lie. Emily's face hardens. You've always been jealous of me, both of you. You can't stand that I'm happy, that I have everything you don't. Everything I don't? I gesture to the room around us. I have a career I built myself, a home I earned. What do you have, Emily? A husband who's about to drag our whole family down with him? You're wrong about him, she says, but her voice wavers. And if you try to interfere, I'll make sure Mother and Father never speak to you again. I meet her eyes, seeing not my little sister, but a stranger wearing her face. Go ahead, but remember, when everything falls apart, you chose this. She leaves like she arrived, in a whirlwind of self-righteous anger. Through the window, I watch her speed away, probably straight to Peter to warn him. What now? Aunt Valerie asks softly. I pull out my phone, scrolling through contacts until I find the number I need. Now we call Diana Lewis. It's time to get proof they can't ignore. The phone rings 3 times before a crisp voice answers. Lewis Investigations. I need your help, I say, watching Emily's taillights disappear into the night. My family's about to lose everything, and I need to make sure the right people go down for it. Diana Lewis spreads photographs across my kitchen counter, like a dealer laying out cards for a high-stakes game. Each image tells a story. Peter shaking hands with known fraudsters, entering buildings through back doors, passing envelopes in shadowy parking lots. Your brother-in-law's been busy, Diana says, tapping one particular photo. This man here, former SEC investigator turned private consultant. They've met 6 times in the past month. My coffee grows cold beside me as I study the evidence of Peter's double life. And my parents' money? Already gone. Diana's voice is gentle but firm. Transferred through 3 shell companies, then offshore. Classic exit strategy. The doorbell rings, making me jump. Through the peephole, I see Mother standing on my porch, clutching her designer handbag like a shield. Isabel, she calls out, Please, I need to talk to you. I gesture for Diana to gather the photos, watching her slip them into a folder and disappear into my study. When I open the door, Mother bursts in, her perfectly maintained facade cracking around the edges. Emily told me what happened at Valerie's, she says, pacing my foyer. How could you say such terrible things about Peter? Are they terrible if they're true? She stops, her shoulders stiffening. He explained everything to your father. The investment opportunity was too good to pass up. Was that before or after you remortgaged the house? The color drains from her face. How did you? No. I lean against the wall, watching her. The same way I know about the federal investigation. The same way I know where Dad's retirement fund really went. You don't understand, she whispers, but there's fear in her eyes now. Peter says it's just temporary. Once the market turns. There is no market turn coming, Mother. It's a con. All of it. She shakes her head violently. No, Emily would know. She wouldn't let. Emily sees what she wants to see, just like you and Dad always have. Mother's hand trembles as she reaches for her phone. I should call your father. He'll explain. Actually, I say, moving to block her, I think you should see something first. I lead her to my study where Diana waits with the evidence spread out again. Mother's gasp is audible as she takes in the photos, the documents, the truth she's been avoiding. That's not, she starts, but her voice fails as she picks up a photo of Peter meeting with a known fraud consultant. When was this taken? Last week, Diana answers, 2 days after he convinced your husband to sign over power of attorney. Mother sinks into my desk chair, her carefully constructed world crumbling. What do we do? We can still stop this, I say, gentler now, but you have to trust me, and we have to act fast. Her phone buzzes. Emily's name flashing on the screen. Mother stares at it, then slowly turns it face down. Tell me everything, she whispers. We spend the next hour showing her the evidence, explaining the scheme, watching reality sink in. When Diana leaves, Mother remains at my desk, aged years and minutes. Why didn't you come to me sooner? I ask finally. She looks up, tears in her eyes. Because admitting I was wrong about Peter meant admitting I was wrong about so much else. About Emily. About you. The words I've waited decades to hear, and they taste like ashes. I have to tell your father, she says, standing shakily. And Emily? Oh God, Emily. Let me handle Emily, I say, walking her to the door. But Mother, don't tell Peter you were here. Don't let him suspect anything. She nods, then turns back suddenly. Isabel, I'm sorry, for everything. After she leaves, I stand in my empty foyer, the weight of secrets pressing down like lead. My phone buzzes, a text from Aunt Valerie. Peter just called, wants to meet tomorrow to clear the air. What's your play? I think of the evidence in my study, of Mother's broken expression, of Emily's blind faith in her husband. Of all the years I stayed quiet, played nice, kept the peace. Set up the meeting, I text back. Time to end this. My finger hovers over the send button for just a moment. Once I press it, there's no going back. No more playing the good daughter, the understanding sister. No more peace to keep. I press send. The cafe Peter chose sits at the edge of the financial district, all glass and chrome, and carefully cultivated sophistication. He's already there when I arrive, perfectly pressed suit and practiced smile, rising to greet me like we're old friends. Isabel, he says warmly, thank you for meeting me. Diana's voice echoes in my head. Remember, let him talk. The more comfortable he feels, the more he'll reveal. The wire beneath my blouse feels like it's burning against my skin. Peter, I reply, sliding into the seat across from him. I assume this is about the house. He laughs, all charm and ease. Always straight to the point. That's what I've always admired about you. The waiter appears, and Peter orders expensive coffee for both of us without asking what I want. Just like always. Actually, he continues, I wanted to clear the air. Emily told me about your concerns. Did she tell you everything? His smile flickers for just a moment. She mentioned you've been talking to Valerie, looking into my business dealings. The coffee arrives, and I watch him add exactly 2 sugars to his cup. Such precise movements for a man who's stolen millions. I have to admit, he says, I'm hurt. If you had questions about my investments, you could have come directly to me. Like my parents did. His expression doesn't change, but his knuckles whiten around his cup. Your parents made an informed decision to invest in their future, our future, as family. Family, I repeat, tasting the bitterness of the word. Is that why you're planning to move into my house? Because we're family? Isabel, he leans forward, voice dropping conspiratorially. I know you think you've uncovered something sinister, but you're only seeing pieces of a much larger picture. Let me explain. My phone buzzes, a text from Diana. FBI moving in on his office now, keep him talking. Actually, I cut him off, I'd love to hear about the larger picture, starting with the offshore accounts. The charm vanishes from his face like a mask being stripped away. Who have you been talking to? Does it matter? The FBI is probably asking the same questions right now. He goes completely still, and for the first time, I see the predator behind the polish. What have you done? What you forced me to do. I pull out my phone, showing him the live news alert about raids at his firm. It's over, Peter. He moves so fast I barely register it, grabbing my wrist across the table, coffee cups clattering. You have no idea what you've started, he hisses, all pretense gone. Your parents will lose everything. Emily, let go of me. My voice carries across the cafe, heads turning. Emily's pregnant. The words hit like a physical blow. You're lying. 2 months along. His grip tightens. Still want to destroy your sister's life? Take everything from your future niece or nephew. For a moment, I waver. Then I remember Mother's broken expression, the years of manipulation, the casual cruelty masked as family loyalty. If Emily's really pregnant, I say quietly, then she deserves to know the truth about her child's father. His phone starts ringing, probably his partner's discovering the raid. In the distance, sirens wail. Last chance, Isabel, he says, voice deadly calm. Walk away now. Let me handle this. Or I promise you, what's left of this family won't survive what comes next. I lean forward, meeting his eyes. You know what your mistake was, Peter. Thinking I still cared about saving this family. I'm not trying to save anything anymore. I'm burning it all down. He releases my wrist, standing so abruptly his chair topples backward. You'll regret this. No, I say, watching him gather his things with shaking hands. I really won't. As he strides out, already barking orders into his phone, I send a quick text to Diana. He's running. Her response is immediate. We've got eyes on him. You okay? I look down at my wrist, already bruising, physical proof of what's been hidden beneath the surface all these years. My phone starts lighting up with messages. Emily, Mother, Father, all demanding explanations. No, I text back to Diana. But I will be. I leave enough cash on the table to cover the untouched coffee and walk out into the sunlight. Behind me, Peter's perfectly ordered world is crumbling. Ahead of me lies the wreckage of everything I once called family. And somewhere in between, I'm finally finding my voice. My parents' living room has become a battlefield. Evidence folders spread across the coffee table like landmines, Diana's photographs scattered like shrapnel, and in the center of it all, my family fracturing before my eyes. This is absurd, Father thunders, throwing down the bank statements. Peter would never... He already has, I cut in, sliding forward another document. Your retirement account, Dad. Check the balance. His hands shake as he reaches for his phone, pulling up his banking app. The color drains from his face. This can't be right. Mother sits silent in her armchair, staring at the photos of Peter with his criminal associates. She hasn't spoken since we started. The front door slams open. Emily storms in, mascara streaked down her face. What have you done? She screams at me. The FBI just arrested Peter. What I had to do, I say, standing to face her. He was stealing from our parents, Emily, from everyone. You're lying. She grabs one of the folders, throwing it across the room. Papers flutter like wounded birds. You've always been jealous, always wanted to ruin my happiness. Emily, Mother finally speaks, her voice barely a whisper. The baby. Emily's hand flies to her stomach protectively. Peter told you. He tried to use it to manipulate me, I say softly, just like he's been manipulating all of us. No. Emily backs away, shaking her head. No, you don't understand. We had plans. The house. Everything was going to be perfect. My house, I remind her, the one you were planning to take while I was away. Because we needed it, she shrieks. Peter said. He promised. Father's phone rings. His lawyer. The conversation is brief, devastating. When he hangs up, he looks aged a decade. The house is gone, he says hollowly. The investments, the savings, everything. Not everything, I say. I've been working with the FBI. There might be a way to recover some. Get out! Emily's voice cuts like glass. Emily, get out! She grabs a photo frame from the mantel. Us as children, smiling, innocent, and hurls it at me. I dodge, and it shatters against the wall. You've destroyed everything. Our family, my marriage, my baby's future. Your baby's future was destroyed the moment Peter decided to commit fraud. I shoot back. I'm trying to save what's left. Save? Mother laughs bitterly. Look around, Isabel. What's left to save? The room falls silent except for Emily's sobs. I look at them, my broken family, the people I thought I was protecting, and see only strangers staring back with hatred in their eyes. My phone buzzes. Diana. Peter's talking, says Emily knew everything. The words blur on the screen as pieces click into place. Emily's desperate defense of Peter, her insistence on taking my house, her perfectly timed pregnancy announcement. You knew, I whisper, looking at my sister. Didn't you? Her tears stop instantly. In that moment, I see Peter's influence in the calculated shift of her expression. Of course I knew, she says coldly. Someone had to fix this family's finances. While you were playing scientist, Peter and I were securing our future. Emily, Mother gasps. What? Emily turns on her. Did you really think your precious charity galas could maintain our lifestyle? At least Peter had vision. Father slumps in his chair, defeated. Mother begins to weep, and I stand in the middle of it all, victory turning to ashes in my mouth. The FBI will want to talk to you too, I tell Emily quietly. She straightens, smoothing her designer dress. Let them. Unlike Peter, I was smart enough not to leave a paper trail. But you left me, I say, and I remember everything. For the first time, fear flickers in her eyes. She grabs her purse, heading for the door. When this is over, she says, don't expect forgiveness. I'm not looking for forgiveness, I reply, just justice. She leaves, taking the last shreds of our sisterhood with her. Mother won't look at me. Father stares blankly at his empty bank statements. My phone buzzes again. Aunt Valerie. You okay? I look around the battlefield of my childhood home, at the wreckage of decades of lies and manipulation, at the cost of truth. I don't respond to the text. There are no words for this kind of victory, this kind of loss. Instead, I gather my evidence and walk out, leaving my family to face the ruins of their carefully constructed facade. Behind me, Mother finally speaks. What have we all become? I close the door on her question, knowing the answer would break whatever's left of her heart. The courthouse corridor feels endless, my heels echoing against marble as I approach the conference room. Through the glass, I see them all waiting. Mother, Father, Emily, and Peter in handcuffs. Diana stands in the corner, while 2 FBI agents flank the table. Peter's lawyer intercepts me before I can enter. Miss Thompson, my client has a proposition. No deals, I say, reaching for the door. He's willing to take full responsibility. Protect Emily completely. The lawyer lowers his voice. Your sister's pregnancy. Surely you don't want your niece or nephew born while their mother's in prison. I pause, hand on the doorknob. Let me guess. In exchange, I drop my testimony about Emily's involvement. He smiles, thinking he's won. I push past him into the room. Emily sits beside Peter, their fingers intertwined despite his cuffs. Mother won't meet my eyes. Father stares at his folded hands. Isabel, Peter starts, all charm even now. Thank you for... Save it. I place a USB drive on the table. You should listen to this first. Diana steps forward, connecting the drive to a laptop. Emily's voice fills the room. Of course I knew about the accounts, Peter. I helped set them up. Isabel's such a fool. She actually thinks you're the mastermind. Peter goes rigid. Emily's grip on his hand loosens. The recording continues. Once she's out of the way at that conference, we'll have everything. Her house, her trust fund share, all of it. She never deserved any of it anyway. Turn it off, Emily whispers. Why? I ask. Isn't this the vision you were talking about? The future you were securing? You recorded me. Emily stands trembling. Your own sister? You were planning to steal everything from me. Your own sister. Miss Collins, one FBI agent interrupts. You told us you had no knowledge of your husband's activities. Emily's mask cracks. I want my lawyer. Emily, Mother finally speaks. Tell them they're wrong. Tell them. They're not wrong, I cut in. She orchestrated everything. Peter was just the face of the operation. The charming distraction while Emily handled the real work. Peter laughs suddenly, harsh and cold. Well played, darling, he tells Emily. I actually believed you were the innocent one. Shut up, Emily hisses. Why should I? You've clearly been playing me as much as I played them. He turns to the agents. I think I'm ready to revise my statement. The room erupts. Emily screaming at Peter, lawyers shouting objections, agents calling for order. Through it all, I stand still, watching my sister's carefully constructed world collapse. You did this, Emily snarls at me over the chaos. Destroyed our family because you couldn't stand seeing me happy. Happy? I step closer, voice cutting through the noise. You were happy destroying our parents, happy watching them lose everything while you lined your pockets. They never lost faith in me, she spits. Never questioned me like they did you, because I earned their love. Earned it with lies, I say softly. And now they know the truth. Mother starts crying. Father finally looks up, decades of certainty crumbling in his eyes. Emily, he whispers, what have you done? The fight drains from her suddenly. She sinks back into her chair, looking small and lost, not the golden child anymore, just a scared woman facing consequences for the first time. I want to make a deal, she says quietly to the agents. Peter lunges across the table, cuffs rattling. You manipulative little... The agents restrain him as Emily's lawyer hurries her from the room. Mother follows, still weeping. Father stays seated, looking older than I've ever seen him. Isabel, he says as I turn to leave, I'm sorry for not seeing... I know, I reply, but it's too late. Outside the conference room, Diana waits. You okay? I watch Emily disappear down the corridor between agents, her designer heels clicking against marble like a final countdown. They wanted my house, I say, my life, everything I built, and now they lose everything instead, Diana finishes. No, I correct her, straightening my shoulders. They lost it all the moment they decided to take what wasn't theirs. I just made sure they couldn't pretend anymore. I walk away from the wreckage of my family's lies, leaving behind the perfect daughter, the golden child, the sister I thought I knew. Ahead lies uncertainty, but at least it's honest. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying someone else's world. Sometimes it's about refusing to let them destroy yours. The nursery mobile spins slowly above an empty crib, casting butterfly shadows on freshly painted walls. Emily's baby shower invitation sits unopened on my desk, forwarded by Mother, who still hopes for reconciliation even after the sentencing. I pack the mobile carefully into its box. a gift purchased in a different life, before I knew the truth about my sister, before she chose greed over family. The doorbell rings. Through the peephole, I see Father standing on my porch, looking smaller somehow in his worn jacket. No more tailored suits, since the restitution payments began. "The house is being sold," he says when I open the door. No greeting, no pretense. "Your mother and we can't keep up with the payments anymore." I step aside, letting him in. He pauses in my foyer, eyes catching on the family photos I haven't taken down yet. "Emily's lawyer called. She's asking for character witnesses for her hearing." "And?" I told him no. His voice cracks. I can't lie anymore." The silence stretches between us, heavy with decades of unspoken truths. He moves to my living room window, staring out at the garden I've finally had time to tend. "Your roses are blooming," he says softly. "They do better when no one's trying to take them from me." He flinches, deserved pain. "Isabel, don't." I pick up the baby shower invitation. "Have you visited her?" "Once." He turns from the window. "She's different in there, smaller, like the Emily we knew was just a costume she wore. Maybe that's who she really is when she can't take things from other people." The invitation crumples in my hand. Father watches, his face lined with fresh grief. "We failed you both," he says finally. "Gave Emily everything she wanted, taught her she could take whatever she desired. And you," he stops, swallowing hard, "we taught you to expect nothing." "You taught me to build my own life," I correct him, "even if that wasn't your intention." My phone buzzes. A text from Diana. "Peter took the expanded plea deal, rolling on everyone." "Emily will serve the full term," I tell Father. "Peter's testimony ensures that." He nods slowly. "Good." The simple word carries the weight of transformation. A father choosing justice over protection, truth over comfort. "We're moving in with Valerie," he says suddenly. "Your mother and She offered, after everything." A laugh escapes me, sharp and surprised. The sister you shunned for 20 years, taking in the family that cast her out. Life has a way of burning down what we thought we knew. He moves toward the door, then stops. "Your mother wants to know. Will you come for Sunday dinner? At Valerie's?" I think of all the Sunday dinners where I sat silent, watching Emily shine, of mother's dismissals and father's blind spots, of the family we were, and the broken pieces we've become. "I'll think about it." He accepts this with a nod, understanding it's more than he deserves. At the door, he turns one last time. "The roses really are beautiful, Isabel. I'm sorry I never noticed before." After he leaves, I carry the mobile to my car. The women's shelter downtown always needs donations, and somewhere, a baby who isn't born from lies might enjoy watching butterflies dance. My phone buzzes again. "Aunt Valerie, you okay?" I look at my house, truly mine now, no threat of theft or invasion. At my garden, blooming wild and free. At the life I've built, stronger for having been defended. "Yes," I text back. Then, after a moment, "Save me a seat for Sunday dinner?" Her response is immediate. "Always had one for you, just waiting for you to claim it." I drive away from my house, the mobile box secure beside me. Ahead lies a future I never expected. Sunday dinners with Aunt Valerie, parents learning humility, a sister serving time for her crimes. Not revenge exactly, not forgiveness either. Something in between, where truth lives, where butterflies cast shadows on empty cribs, and roses bloom fiercer for having been protected, where family isn't what you're given, but what you choose to build from the ashes of what burns away.